Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Subramaniam Maslamani. I am a Tamil. Today my topic is leading Tamils in Sri Lanka and Tamils worldwide to freedom. Several people have asked me to limit my weekly address to about 5 minutes maximum. I understand their point of view. But we are not here for a short journey to freedom. Freedom is an ongoing work in progress. Education takes a minimum of 25 years. A child takes a minimum of 25 years. An enterprise takes 25 years. And a nation takes centuries. It took me 65 years to get here, and I am still learning. The present day situation of Tamils is because we abused ourselves, our families, and our land and our resources for our immediate and short-term wants. A family must have plans for at least 5 generations. And the nation must have at least planned for 300 years and revise regularly. So people must be patient. It's a long, never-ending journey. All I am doing is what my family did generation after generation, planning for a long journey while keeping our emotions, wants, ambitions, avarice, and greed under control. Tamil people must go back to their roots, back to their old culture, go back to their innovative work habits, and build a better world. In Germany, there are family businesses going for 1,000 years. Moscow in Russia is a 1,000-year-old city. No military has ever entered the city of Moscow. That is incredible. Tamil culture began with the creation of the universe. No force on earth can destroy us or destroy it. I am a Tamil by choice, not by birth, for it gives me absolute pathway to heaven. People call me racist, they all do, who have not lived a transcendental contemplative life. When people call a confirmed criminal and murderer as His Excellency and give him a red carpet welcome for the blood he spilled, I know where we have gone wrong. I am referring to Mahinda Rajapaksa of Sri Lanka. He is not a hero, neither a Nero. He is a criminal. We need leaders who can make people to think transcendentally and transgenerationally. It's in making everyone a leader of their own destiny that we are going to have a decent world to live in. It is our parents who gave us this world, and it is our responsibility to hand it over to our children. That should be the prime mission and motivator of any leader and any people. The Sri Lankan situation is an experiment. Sri Lankan situation is an experience and education done in a crucible of extreme tragic circumstances. It teaches us of our barbaric and regressive nature. Man can indeed go back in moral evolution and be worse than the worst animal. It is not the crime that was disgusting, but the bystanders who watched and cheered the one community destroying another community and culture. To call an innocent man defending his family as a terrorist and call the intruder and violent as a sovereign right is a very disturbing indeed. It's very disturbing indeed. It's a shame that no one, not even the Africans, raised their voice against it. As Pastor Martin Niemöller said, when it repeats in every home, every village, and every nation, what can we do? There will be no one to speak for anyone. For the last 60 years, Tamils did not have any bargaining power in Sri Lanka or anywhere in the world. All we can do was to beg for our birthrights. If we beg for it, even a peacock will not drop a feather for you. Always remember that. Now we have the bargaining power. Let us make an offer. We may be ready to invest about 40 billion, equivalent to 4 trillion Sri Lankan rupees in Sri Lanka. Therefore, we ask the Sinhalese, what can you offer in return? Now we have the bargaining power, and we can walk in with some negotiating firepower. To make a deal to work, one must either have bargaining power or enforcement power. The offer is here now. They can take it or leave it. Tamils must take the road less traveled, the road of morality and chastity. It may look hard, but it is not harder. And soon you will discover that hard is better than harder, and hard becomes easier as you keep at it. Life is a function, sequence, and consequence of time management. Time management depends on habit management. More you learn to manage habits better, you manage time. Better you manage time. Once you know how to control time, you have controlled your destiny. Life is time, and time is the space between time of birth and time of death. Try to use it wisely and creatively. Be conscious of time and manage it wisely and wisely. My dear folk, it will take only 50 years to rehabilitate the Sinhalese criminal mentality and retake our freedom. Unfortunately, we are caught in an island surrounded with water. Freedom is something you are born with, and you have it till you lose it. You know what we did in the last 500 years. We bartered our freedom for food and property. It was a conspiracy that worked very well in the South Asia region. South African people are the greatest on earth, for they stood up to apartheid and did not sacrifice or barter their freedom for food and property. When you barter and bargain your birthrights, you become a mere slave. It is in changing the master as well as the servants we can realize that in the interest of both, we had to come to an equitable status and solution. We Tamils must be the agents of that change. In America, we realize that more and more of our prosperity depends on more and more and how fast and faster we educate the people to respect freedom and equality as means to salvation. The holders of power, as security to their inferiority, ignorance and moral weakness, are being told to relinquish that false sense of security. And the people whose power was either lost, taken away, to rise up and demand their freedom. It has to be a two-way struggle. Freedom is everyone's legitimate birthright. No one has the right to surrender or surrender their freedom. It is surrender of freedom, the most prevalent form of freedom lost. It is hard to surreptitiously take away one's freedom. Once upon a time, selected men and nations had the advantage of managing the resources of nature to provide food, shelter, and other needs. These people use their ingenuity to further their false pride and ambition. They cannot be blamed, but praised and appreciated, for they brought the world so far. Now we are in a new millennium, and the trend is equitable sharing of living. The internet has distributed knowledge to all people and all regions and has created a level playing field. The knowledge that was once upon a time kept among the selected group of people is now available to people all over the world. Segregation is disappearing. The race is disappearing. The religion is disappearing. The language is changing. The borders are dissolving. People look the same everywhere. And people enjoy food from all over the regions in the world. Healthcare is expanding. And hence we are on our way to a new and a more equitable world. The power of the king through the sword, the power of the religion through superstition, and the power of the money through credit are slowly disappearing. The Greek financial crisis is not the problem of the Greek people. It is the problem of the people who lend them money more than they need. The politician is the culprit, found an easy way out. Just give them all they want, not what they need. To lend or give credit, someone must have the surplus to give. What has happened to those cornucopias that created abundance of wealth? The wants replace the needs, and wants are deleterious in that they are insatiable. If you visit any recycling place, you will know the folly of the politicians. The garbage is basically what people throw away. When I see a light burning in a toilet for no apparent reason, and when people boil more than what they need, and when people serve more food than they can eat, we are sure that there is no economic problem in the world, but it's a wastage for people who are given easy access to credit. When you turn your home into an ATM machine, you are basically breaking the house to keep you warm. In that process, they lose their economic freedom. People are made into madness. They go to work just to pay off the debt. I saw this bumper sticker. I owe, so I am off to work. It is not freedom. It is modern slavery, and it is a malice. When you lack economic freedom, you have to be forced to work. So let us take back our freedom and take back our creativity. Man is the only animal that has to be driven to perform. Why? Because he is not free. No free man will be driven. He will live on his own. That is how civilization started. But somewhere down the road, we gave up our freedom for leisure. Time to turn around. It's time to take control of our lives and our freedoms. I am very fortunate that I was given an intellect to look at everything from a positive angle. Or as they say, the glass is half full. I see opportunities, not obstacles. I see for opportunities within obstacles. We Tamils are in that advantageous situation. What we Tamils in Sri Lanka has to do is to reflect on our past 500 years and see where we went wrong, what we gave up, and reconstitute our traditional and natural strength in us. Our caste system was introduced by the invading Nordics from the north to divide us. Some of us still hang on to that erroneous superiority complex. If you are superior to me, whom are you inferior to? Because you are inferior to someone else, you feel superior to me. A man with level-headedness will look at the content of the character than the feeling of the caste. This caste card has been played by the Sinhalese very well. It's our fault for falling prey to the name. That is our primary, first and foremost defect and weakness. In countries like USA, Europe, Russia and China, this caste system has been casted away and out. They progress as one nation of people. The next defect we Tamils have is to fix is selfishness and self-centeredness. We Tamils have to unite and have a shared vision. We respond better to intimidation, fear and reprisal than faith and understanding. We see how far we can push someone till we get all for us. It's a form of weakness that we have to wean out. Try to unite the Tamils and you will see that you can hold marbles together but not the Tamils. Why is that? Because it is about what can we get than what can we give is the norm of the day. What we can take than what we can give. But our Tamil culture, like Christianity, says that we receive in giving. But sorry to say this, I give and I'll tell you, God opens the roof and pour it in. I do not want any more of this material wealth and richness. As long as God give me the life every day to be service of the people, I am very happy. Seriously, I am scared to give, for I am going to receive more. There's no more room in my home, but I have plenty of room in my heart to give. Tamil people in Sri Lanka are unfortunate at this time in history. But it is a punishment by God for abusing our great culture. We bargained and bartered our freedom and moral strength to materialism. It's time to work for the common good and good of our nature. Tamils in Sri Lanka has to go through what we diaspora went through in the world. When I landed in Paris, France on 14th January 1977, I didn't know where to go, whom to seek, what to do. It took me 3 days for a kind lady to give me a job to clean her washroom and the rest of the house. That is how I started. That is basically what most all diaspora went through. A doctor friend of mine worked as a construction worker till he gets qualified in Canada. We learn from the white man that dignity of labor is every new immigrant and refugee has to go through the system to realize that he or she is here because they did not exercise their right to freedom in their native land. Today, Tamils are invited to sit next to the world-class people because we have risen and become world-class people. What I am telling my folks back in Sri Lanka is you have to go through that hardship. Then you will know the precious and price of freedom. It is time to ask the Sinhalese, what can we do for you and what can they give us? Let me tell you all Tamils, had we stayed united, no army or no weapon would have ever penetrated our defense. We ran to protect our property. Today we have none. Don't blame the Sinhalese. Had you stood up and said, you cannot take away my freedom, they would have backed off. We did not have the moral courage to ask the Sinhalese, come on, let's talk. What we have to do to live with you? What can we contribute to the nation of Sri Lanka? Instead of asking them, what can do? We kept crying. We kept crying foul. We should have asked what can we share and what can we do, but we kept asking them to give. They have nothing to give us, believe me. Now we are ready to invest about $40 billion, equivalent to 4 trillion Sri Lankan rupees. What can you offer in return? What can you offer us in return? We have the bargaining power, and we can talk in with some negotiating firepower. In any negotiation, one must have bargaining power or enforcement power. The offer is here. They can take it or leave it. 4 trillion is no small dough, but we needed the dough to make the dollars. But that is past. We have to change. But that is the past. We have to change. Again, we have criminals trying to take over the community and leading them in the wrong direction. I'm talking about Tamils. The answer is that Tamils in Sri Lanka has to get up, shut up and put up with it and work on reforming their habits, character and their destiny. You have the diaspora to stand by you. Any atrocity will be taken, multiplied several times and sent to the world leaders right away. A warning to Sinhalese in Sri Lanka. Enough is enough. You got enough of it. Now back off. And you will never rise up politically, economically, or internationally if you commit even one single act of illegality to our Tamil brothers and sisters. It is time for the Sinhalese gangs and gangsters to cool off and leave the Tamils alone. As I always said, a cancer grows out of repeated stimuli. If you keep harassing us, we will find a way to solve it. And then you will have a Palestine in Sri Lanka. In the last match, you won 1-0. Imagine had we won and your plight. So stop your racism, fanaticism, barbarism, narcissism, state terrorism, and state-sanctioned prostitution and all kinds of things. We are not interested in them. In the meantime, what should the Tamils do? Tamils worldwide must become free people, free of fear, free of inferiority, free of colonialism, free of second-class mentality, free of selfishness, and become one great union of people. Together we can do better. Together we can be stronger. Together we can be an invincible socio-economic and political force. Money is not evil. It's the love of money that is evil. If money is employed to make our lives better, it is the best for all ever can it be. Money is the universal denominator and total sum by which all our efforts, effectiveness, efficiencies, knowledge, service, goods may be measured and valued. Money is the best tool ever invented by man to reduce everything to a common denominator, commodity and identity. It is the most realistic, equitable and justifiable form of value and medium of transaction. Tamils must get involved in the business of the world, build schools, community centers, communities, help the unfortunate people around the world, etc. You made too much of wealth in such a short period of time. Time to invest it for the betterment of the world. There are millions of have-nots and unfortunate people around the world. Help them the way you help your family and friends when they came as orphans, destitute, and refugees seeking asylum in foreign lands. Thanks to the white man who took you and showed you a pathway to prosperity. Do not complain about any discrimination. If that is the case, we should not and would not have risen to the Wall Street in half a generation. These lands are the land of freedom and the land of opportunities. Some people hate Europeans and Americans, but they live here in America and Europe. When they talk ill about America and Europe, they are expressing their freedom of expression. If you do that in your former country, you would have been buried with your face facing down. From here, we have great opportunity to help our Tamil people all over the world. Rebuilding period is over in the Western world. We have achieved tremendous progress. Now we are in the provident phase worldwide. And we have proved to the world we are good people. Now let us reach out to the Sinhalese and say, come on, join us in a different journey. A journey into what humans are really capable of. Instead of fanning the flame of race, religion, language and terror, we want to show the world the cornucopia, how God has given us the power over the universe. We want to show the world how to create domain over the material world for the good of all people. We all need an identity, but when the identity is turned into idiotic adventures with loss of life, that has to be controlled. Now the warning to the Sinhalese is that if you keep calling us terrorists, one day we may become terrorists, and that day you will realize your follies. Let me repeat that. The Sinhalese, another warning to the Sinhalese is that if you keep calling us terrorists, one day we may become terrorists, and that day you will realize your follies. Look, in 60 years, what have you done? Sri Lanka has become a criminal cartel. People, institutions, the leaders, the military, the police force, the judiciary, the legislature, the executor, the media, all now under the control of criminal elements. For the first time in the human history, under the veneer of democracy, a nation has become a criminal outfit. How 20 million people did endorse a criminal as their president? How many generations will it take to retrieve the nation? World leaders have failed. Democracy has failed. People have failed. I have failed. And everyone to have failed to stand up to narcissistic forces. Sinhalese people must, instead of paying attention to deceiving, deceitful, disgusting, degrading, debasing, degenerative, diversive, disgusting, and derogatory behavior, must embark on a peace and prosperity mode. Your era of ignorance is over. Tamils are gone. Now it is up to you to mind your own business. It will be interesting to watch how you will deal with your own socio-economic issues. Now forget that there are 60 million Tamils just north of you, and the rest 10 million are in creative and prosperous world. Now we are the mass and energy. Therefore, stop your nonsensical behavior and be good people. Tamils do not need a government. They are capable of managing their own way. We are all over the world. Every Tamil family is a nation unto itself. They understand life better. It is an income and outgo entity. There is enthalpy and entropy, if you will understand what it is. As living things, we need energy to live and energy to spend. That is the final crux of life. Race, religion, etc. is unwanted and unwarranted incidentals. Work was the first religion. Work was the first religion and the only religion. Other religions are opium of the illiterate masses. In nature, there are the symbionts, synthesizers, parasites, and predators. While most people are symbiotic and synthetic, Sinhalese have been made to be parasites and predators and to load, steal, and live. That is what you had done for the last 60 years. You killed the geese that laid golden eggs, and now you have to work. What the world needs badly are leaders who can think transcendentally and transgenerationally. It's our parents who gave us the world, and it's our responsibility to hand over this to our children. That should be the prime mission and motivator of any leader. The Sri Lankan experience and education is an education done in a crucible of extreme tragic contexts and circumstances. It teaches us of our barbaric and regressive nature. Man can indeed go back in moral evolution and be worse than the worst animal. It is not the crime that was disgusting, but the bystanders who watched and cheered the one community destroying another community and culture. To call an innocent man defending his family as a terrorist, and to call the intruder and violator as a sovereign right, that is very disturbing indeed. It's a shame that no one, not even the Africans, raised their voice against it. As Pastor Martin Niemöller said, when it repeats in every home, every village, and every nation, what can we do? There will be no one to speak for anyone. That's all, folks, this week. Thank you very much. Tamils, 70 million worldwide, unite, stay together, work hard, and never ever give up. The best is yet to come, and we are winning. My name is Subramaniam Masalamani, a world-class Tamil powered by convictions, commitments, and conscience.